Front Page Dramas presents The Magnificent Deception. This week's Front Page drama, The Magnificent Deception, is a dramatization of an amazing true-life story recently revealed in the newspapers of Paris, France, and is dramatically retold in next Sunday's American Weekly under the caption, Help the Blind Beggar and Unmask Her Rich Husband. This is only one of the many interesting stories, articles, and entertaining features that appear every week in the American Weekly, the magazine with the greatest circulation in the world that comes to you as part of your Hearst Sunday newspaper. Paris is a city of strange characters and fantastic happenings. Anything can happen in Paris, and it usually does. If you had been standing in front of the church Saint-Germain-des-Prés a few months ago, you may have seen a bent and bewhiskered cripple suddenly pick up his crutches and run away from a pretty and fashionably dressed woman who dropped a coin in his tin cup, and a moment later see the beggar struck down by a passing taxi. You would have seen the pretty young woman dash to the side of the injured beggar and begin to cry. Well, you say it's sad, but after all, just a street accident, and the same thing happens here. But there was a tragic story behind that fatal accident that began more than a year before in one of the gambling casinos in Monte Carlo.
You are not a very good gambler, mademoiselle. Pardon me, mademoiselle, for taking this liberty of talking to you. But as you know, I stood beside you at the table. I could not help but notice one so young and beautiful portray such puzzled amazement at the speed one's money goes on those whirling wheels.
Oui, monsieur. My first visit to a gambling casino. It was fascinating at first, but before I realized I'd lost ever so much money. I'm afraid Mother would be angry.
700 francs, that is not much. It was well worth it to see how prettily you pouted every time the croupier raked in your money. So as you lost it on the black, I took the liberty of retrieving it for you on the red.
Oh.
Your money and a little profit for myself besides. So here, let me return your money.
Oh, no, I couldn't do that, really. I lost.
Nonsense. You are just an inexperienced beginner. Had you known more about the odds and the system to play, you might have won instead of losing. Here, take this, please.
No, really, I couldn't. What would my mother say?
What is she going to say when you tell her you lost 700 francs?
Oh, dear. Well, I don't know.
I tell you what to do. Take me over and introduce me to your mother, and we'll both explain it to her, huh?
Now, that might be easier. Except I don't know who you are.
Stupid of me. I should have introduced myself. My name is Louis Turquois. Age, 50, bachelor. Occupation, stockbroker. Residence, Antnières-sur-Seine, a suburb of Paris. There, how's that?
Splendid. And I am Lady Malibran.
Never mind the rest. Just looking at you is enough.
Well, I'd better find Mother. I left her in the lounge over 2 hours ago.
May I come along?
Absolutely. You're going to be my protector when I break the news to Mother. Come along.
Thank you. Gladly. Lead on, please.
This way, then. So you see, monsieur, after my husband died, we were so lonely in that big house and were so depressed, we decided to take a trip to brighten up our lives a little.
It was a very wise decision. But I must admit, Monte Carlo is no place for two such nice but rather unsophisticated people.
My daughter's gambling escapade proved that. Oh, Mother.
I have to hurry back to my business in Paris tomorrow. But I would be delighted to have you join me. It is a delightful trip by car, and I'll be glad to show you around Paris, huh?
Oh, that would be wonderful, monsieur. No, later. We mustn't impose upon Monsieur Turquois' good nature.
I assure you it would not be an imposition. On the contrary, a pleasure to have you both, madame. Now, what do you say? Paris is very beautiful in the spring.
You are very, very kind, monsieur, but really...
Mademoiselle, I ask your help. You try to convince your mother that a lonely bachelor with a nice villa at Antnières-sur-Seine really needs your charming company to bring cheer and brightness into his drab existence.
Oh, Mother, please accept. You know how much I'd long to see Paris. But, my dear child, to accept the hospitality of a gentleman we have known only 4 hours, to leave him to his home, why, it's...
No, madame. I know just what you are going to say, but look at it sensibly. Do I look like a criminal? Are you afraid I'm going to kidnap you?
Oh, goodness me, monsieur. It is only that, that is all so sudden.
Do you think you would really know me any better 1 year from now? If we met occasionally, corresponded frequently, and do the usual things that friends usually do when they live miles apart?
No, I see what monsieur means, Mother. And I think he's perfectly right. Why, I feel as if I'd known him all my life. I trust him.
There, madame.
Very well, monsieur. We will accept your kind invitation for later sake. But I still don't think it's quite proper.
Madame Malibran soon got over her reticence, for Monsieur Turquois' humble description of himself was a masterpiece of gallant understatement. His rambling old house was impressive and very comfortable. His bank account was ample. He was a patron of art, the devotee of the drama. His hospitality warm and bountiful. She was gracious and charming, and it wasn't long until Leda had completely lost her heart to her gallant host. Leda's unspoiled grace, her natural charm and beauty more than impressed Monsieur Terricois, and in a few months, with Madame Malabang's wholehearted blessing, they were married. A little while after the honeymoon, Madame Malabang returned to her home in Sweden, leaving the lovebirds happy and contented. Then one day, while in Paris to do some shopping, Leda decided to drop around to her husband's office and surprise him.
This can't be the place. My husband wouldn't have an office in a place like this.
I am sorry, madame, but this is the address you gave me.
What a depressing neighborhood. What a dismal street and such a fastidious-looking building.
Oui, madame, but this is the address you gave me.
Very well, Pierre. I'll run in and investigate.
Well, perhaps in view of the neighborhood and the look of the place, I had better go with you, madame.
Very good, Pierre. Come along. I will to your station.
There appears to be no one inside, madame.
Try the door, Pierre.
The door is unlocked, madame. Do you care to enter?
Yes. Oh, dear me, what a damn dirty place. There must be some mistake. This Pierre wouldn't live in a place like this. Oh, the gate. His hat. Yes, it is my husband. That's strange. And here, this is my husband wore this morning.
Oui, madame. It looks very much like it.
Oh. Let us hurry, Pierre. Leave at once. And
Oui, madame.
I want you to promise me faithfully to keep this visit a secret. You will tell no one. Servant, my husband, no one. You understand?
Oui, madame. I understand perfectly. You can trust me implicitly. Good evening, Letty, darling. I've brought an old friend and very close business associate of mine home to dinner.
Huh?
Letty, I want you to meet Monsieur Dubec.
How do you do, Mr. Dubec? I'm glad to meet an old friend of yours.
I am charmed, madame. Louis has told me a great deal about you. I have waited anxiously for this opportunity.
And speaking of business, dear, I was in town shopping today and almost stopped in at your office to pick you up.
Huh? I mean, did you, dear?
Yes, but it was so late I was afraid you'd be gone.
Oh.
Do you know, Monsieur Dubec, I have never been to Louis' office, and I've always wanted to see where and how hard he works.
I have told you, dear, the office is no place for a wife to visit. Am I right, Dubec? Absolutely. The sordid business of making money is not for charming women like yourself, madame. Yours is not to be mixed up in the many unpleasantries of the world of business, but to enjoy the fruits of their husband's working hours. Ah, very well spoken, Dubec. But let us have a cocktail. As I have always said, a wife's place is in her home, playing the lovely lady of the manor, not trudging into noisy, busy offices.
Very well, Dick. I'll remember that in the future. I'm much too much in love with Louis to cross with Monsieur Dubec.
That's as it should be, but I'm afraid you're spoiling him for his friends, madame.
Oh, no, I don't think so. Shall I turn out the lights as I leave? No, Janine, I don't want you to go yet. Oui, madame. Is there something I can get for you? Janine, how long have you worked here for Monsieur? 6 years, madame. Ever since my mother came here to cook for Monsieur, I see. And naturally, you're very loyal to Monsieur. Oui, madame. But I am also loyal to you, too. I like madame very, very much. Thank you, Janine. And if I asked you to keep a secret for me, to tell no one, not even Monsieur, you would do it for me? Oui, madame, I would. Thank you, Janine. Now, I don't want Monsieur or anyone to know about this little conversation we're going to have. Promise? Oui, madame, I promise. Good. Now, Janine, tell me, do you know anything about Monsieur's business? Where or how he makes his money? No, madame. Except that Mother says he has a big office somewhere and is an important broker. Does Pierre ever drive Monsieur to work? No, madame. That is why Pierre likes the job of chauffeur here. He says it's the only job where he never had to get up early and drive his master to work. Pierre says Monsieur told him he enjoys driving himself early in the morning. And doesn't Pierre ever have to call for him to drive him home? No, madame. That is another reason why Pierre likes the job. He never has to worry about traffic in the evening rush hours. And before I came, did Monsieur have many visitors, business friends call? No, madame. Monsieur Dubec is the only one who ever came. Janine, I want you to call me early tomorrow morning, but I don't want Monsieur to know that I am up early. Oui, madame. I understand. And do me one more favor, Janine. Call Pierre and tell him to be up early, ready to drive me to town. But I do not want Monsieur to see him or to know that he is up early or has my car ready. Very good, madame. It will be just as you wish. Thank you. Good night. Good night, madame.
Early next morning, Later watched her husband drive his car out of the driveway and turn on the road to Paris. Quickly, she ran to the garage where Pierre was waiting. She hurriedly gave him instructions to follow Monsieur Louis' car, keeping a reasonable distance to avoid detection.
Pierre, my husband's car stopped right in front of the place we visited yesterday. Now, there's a man with you. They're going to the building together. Can you see who it is?
Oui, madame. It's Monsieur Dupet.
Monsieur Dupet, his business partner.
Oui, madame. There is another man coming. See, he's getting into Monsieur's car.
Mm-hmm. And driving it away. Here, we're going to wait here for a while and see what happens.
Very good, madame.
Those two men coming out of the building, Pierre.
Crippled old beggars, madame. One of them is apparently blind, too.
Never mind that, Pierre. Watch where they go.
They're going up to the big church there.
I'm going over to the church steps and investigate those men. Here, my poor man, I have some change for you.
Merci, madame.
And wait until I see. Oh, yes, I have some silver for you, too. Oh. What's the matter? Don't run away.
Stand aside. Stand back. He's dead. Killed instantly. Now, madame, you must not cry so. Here, get up, please. You are not to blame. You are just a passenger in the taxi.
I wasn't in the taxi. I'm that man's wife. That man was my husband.
No, madame. What is this? What would a pretty lady in your position be doing married to this old shabby beggar? Why, he has been a character around here for years.
Please, officer, please. Ask that other beggar, his friend. He is Monsieur Louis Terricois of Anciers and French. I am his wife.
Oh, mon Dieu. In all my life, I gave him 10 sous a day for luck and blessing. An investigation revealed that Monsieur Terricois and his friend had been beggars by day and gentlemen by night for many years. Later's husband left her the tidy sum of 2 million francs in his will, but she would have none of the money. She turned it all over to charity. You have just heard The Magnificent Deception, a dramatization of the story, Helped a Blind Beggar and Unmasked Her Rich Husband, which appears in next Sunday's American Weekly. See this and all the other splendid stories, articles, and feature fiction to be found in each issue of the American Weekly, the magazine with the greatest circulation in the world, which comes to you each week as a part of your Hearst Sunday newspaper.